For the last 3 Tuesdays, Tyvis Powell has joined us with a hot take as you take a look at beautiful Lake Erie. Today, though, it is not a hot take from Tyvis. It is not Hot Take Tuesday. It is time for a new segment we are calling Professor Powell. Tyvis, how you doing, friend? And are you ready to inform us on the one and only D'Angelo Pond? Tyvis looks so smart with glasses. So smart with glasses.
I'll never wear glasses. 20/20 vision, you know. I can see things without the glasses.
Those are like Harry Potter glasses. Are those drawn on you? Those can't possibly be real.
They may or may not be Google image
Yeah,
searched.
that's what I
and
thought.
Photoshopped.
Don't do that to my man.
I wanted to look more intelligent, I guess.
Man, you had the turtleneck on and everything, bro. If glasses will switch your flow up, though. If you put glasses on, it changes the whole trajectory of your fit.
G, can you not see without the glasses?
Oh no, I can't see none of this. It's the reason why it's the reason why my sunglasses are all prescription. Like I can't I try to one day I was just driving at night and was like, hold on, why is everything blurry? And it gradually happened over 2 weeks. I went from pretty good driver to nah, don't drive at night, dog.
Wow,
that's kind of crazy. These glasses right here, bifocals. Now let's tell us what you got going on with this professor thing. Your takes last week was crazy. What you got this week?
You agree with my take last week.
I
first
did.
Of all.
Only when I agree.
Whatever. Anyways, today we gonna talk about D'Angelo Pons. D'Angelo Pons to me is a guy that I think the Browns secondary need. You know, you look at just the makeup of their secondary. You got Ronnie Hickman patrolling the middle of the field in that post. You got Grant Delpit, who I think is a very smart safety who makes plays because he studies the game. And then you got 2 really good corners on the outside, Denzel Ward being a top 5 corner in this league, and Tyson Campbell, who's got tremendous upside, who's really good, been a really good addition. But I think when you look at the Browns defense secondary, we gotta look at that nickel position. And I think Miles Harden is a good player. I do. I think that he's got some upside to him. But I think we need somebody to be a playmaker. I think that's the one thing that this secondary is missing. A guy that's a ball hawk that can just make plays when the ball is in the air. Now, last year, this defense had a total of 11 interceptions. D'Angelo Pons, to me, at his 5'9" size, I think that he can be a perfect nickel in the NFL. Let me explain. This is a guy who finished with 7 interceptions. He had 33 PBUs. He had 2 touchdowns that he took to the house, and he got 10 and a half TFLs. Now, the TFL part is important to me because if you're going to play nickel and you've listened to, them talk about how important this nickel position is in this defense, you want to have a guy that's a playmaker there, a guy that can run pass, can trigger really fast to get TFLs, but also can make plays on the ball. And I think that's what he specializes in. Look at that. This is a guy who recognizes what route is coming. He understands that it's a reduced split. It's going to be a spray out. He sits down on the route, jumps it, makes a play. This play right there wasn't even his to make. He gets vision. He plays with vision on the quarterback to see where the quarterback is going, and he just makes plays. And you would think as a 5'9" guy, you could just bully him. As you can see, he's gone up against these good receivers and still been able to make plays. And like I say, a guy that can just recognize what's about to happen, trigger on it, and make a play. He has no hesitation in his play. That comes from just having a tremendous preparation. And again, I just think that's somebody that the Browns need in that secondary. One of those guys that's very scrappy, that can also make plays when the ball is in the air, and it can change the whole outcome of a game with some interceptions that he make. So to me, I think D'Angelo Pons probably in the second round would be a nice pickup for the Browns.
Is he worth the 39th pick in your mind, Tyvis?
Yeah, I would take him with the 39 pick because I know that everybody's like, we got to fix the offense. I think if you take those first 2 picks and you get a tackle and a receiver in whatever order you want to do it in, I think that leaves room for you to still be able to use another pick on the defense early on. Again, one thing about AB and them is that they find hidden talent. Now, I give them respect because they find it with later picks. You think of Martin Emerson as a 3rd-round pick. Ronnie Hickman was an undrafted free agent, so they have an eye for finding good DBs. But D'Angelo Pons, to me, is somebody that could take this secondary and take it from good to great. So to me, if you're going to strengthen up that defense, that's the one spot on defense that I want them to look at. And no offense to Miles Harden, I think he's a good player. I think D'Angelo Pons brings a little bit more to the table.
Watching that tape, Tyvis, obviously the ball skills and the coverage skills are there, but despite the smaller frame, the dude is not afraid to make tackles. Are you worried the fact that he is a smaller cornerback and he tested incredibly well on the athletic testing, but are you worried about him being able to handle the physicality of the NFL and his body withstanding a 17-game season at that particular size.
What school? What conference did he play football in?
He started at James Madison, ended at Virginia.
And where did,
at Indiana, excuse me.
Okay, I don't. Won the national championship too, right? Went up against Miami and
It's
and
1
the
year
SEC
versus NFL
and all
career.
of those
I'm
things.
asking you because you played the position. You know how much physicality it takes
Listen,
to play.
injuries is going to play injuries is a part of the game. The NFL is the only place where you're going to 100% get hurt at some point in time. I don't think his small fracture is going to stop him from being able to make plays. I think that at the nickel position, yes, you're going to be involved in some run fits and all of those things. I think that he's scrappy enough and tough enough to be able to handle it. And again, his coverage ability is amazing, and he's got the ability to make those tackles. I just love his attitude, by the way. You know, that to me is half the battle as well. The confidence and have the attitude to know that you're small, but that don't stop you from doing what you want to do. I like it. So I think that I'll be very comfortable with them taking him in the second round.
You know what? I was just looking over some mock drafts, and the thing that stood out to me was when he actually ran what he ran. I said, "Oh, okay." I didn't think he was going to run that well. When he ran that well, I then went back and started to look at it and said, okay, pound for pound, when you want to look at his tape and the competition that he played against, you got to think about it. He played against Oregon. He played against Ohio State. He played against Miami.
Yep.
Like Bama. He done played against, and by the way, Ohio State wasn't running away from him. They got Jeremiah Smith and Cardinal Tate. They was not running away. Matter of fact, that zone coverage they was throwing on people had people confused a little bit. He has good ball skills, good tackler. And I think that there is one thing that I will say is that you got to look at it in terms of if there's one position where the Browns, you can say, I wouldn't mind them investing, is the nickel position. Because if you can get a nickel back, if you get a nickel, Tyvis, I feel like you could turn this thing into a really tough defense to get points on, especially when it comes to what other guys they already have in the mix. Yeah. The question for you is, how high is cool? Like, second round, as you know, there are going to be some other receivers in the second round that will be there. And if the Browns don't invest in the first pick in a receiver, do you think that could push them back a little bit?
Yeah, that definitely would. If the Browns don't get a receiver in the first round, then they're probably going to take one in the second. But the thing that I also like about D'Angelo Pons is that not only is he'll be a good nickel, we need backup corners. You know, Denzel's going to go down at some point. That's just what it is. And I want the next person to go in and make sure that we still good. This is a guy who succeeded on the outside. Denzel is 5'11" maybe? So, it's not like this guy's that much smaller than Denzel, and Denzel has been successful in the league. Again, you can't take away from the simple fact that this man knows how to play the football. That is the one thing in the secondary. If you ask me what's so frustrating about watching football today versus 10 years ago, is that these corners today, and not just corners, just DBs today, don't play the ball that well. They don't have the ball skills that these guys used to have back in the day. That's why you see the interception numbers going down. Guys is leading in the league with like 6 picks on a season. Like, that's ridiculous to me. So I want a guy that knows how to play the ball. What made Martin Emerson stand out is that he had a lot of PBUs. He led the SEC in PBUs coming out, which means he knew how to play the football. That's what you're getting out of D'Angelo Pons. That's a skill set that's being lost in NFL, is that corners is good, being in position and all those things, but if you can't get your head to turn around and make a play on the ball, then it's pointless. And I think that's the one skill set that's missing, but I think he brings that to the table, is that he actually will put himself in position to be able to get his head around and be able to make plays on the ball.
Are you fairly certain or comfortable that they're going to go offense with both picks in the first round? Because it'd be kind of hard if they somehow go defense in the first round. Could they really come back and go defense again in the second?
I feel like you got to go offense. I at this point today, if you ask me right now what my gut feeling is, and just listening to everybody and putting together data, I really think that they're going to take 6 and get an offensive tackle and take 24 and get one of the best receivers available at that point. And I might not agree with it, but that's what I think they're going to do, which then means that when you get to the second round, how confident are you in the pick that you took at 24? You know what I'm saying? Like wide receiver. If you take, let's say Casey Concepcion, if you take Casey Concepcion, are you comfortable with him being your second best wide receiver, or do you look at him as your first best wide receiver? Probably not. So now you're going to probably complement him with another wide receiver in the second round, Chris Brazzell, Zachariah Branch, something like that, right? So to me, if they take a receiver at 6, I think it opens up the likelihood that they can go get Pons in the second round.
So what do you think they should do? You said you think they'll take line at 6 and receiver at 24, not necessarily what you would do. What would you do?
Me personally, I would take a wide receiver at 6 and take a tackle at 24. Okay. I'll flip it. But like I said, I understand why. I mean, they've been so focused on trying to fix this offensive line all year. And the Chicago Bears is their blueprint of how they want to fix their offensive line. If that's the case, I think Chicago took their premier franchise tackle with the pick in the draft. So if that's the case, they're probably going to go ahead and complete the mission and take a tackle at 6, or if they trade down, get them at 10 or whatever the heck it is they want to do.
Is Carnell Tate still your number 1 receiver, Ty? Would he be the guy at 6?
I think Carnell Tate is the safest pick, but I get the whole Jordan Tyson thing for sure. Like if they got Jordan Tyson, that's fine. I mean, athletically wise, he's the most athletic receiver in this draft. Obviously, the injuries and the medicals things is what scares a lot of people. But if people are talking about him so highly as a top 10 pick, then medically wise, there's no red flags there. So to me, if they're a good sign to go, that they're confident that these are just one and done, one in occasion accidents and injuries, then you could take him at 6 and that'd be fine as well. I mean, the guy is a gifted wide receiver, and if you want to pair him in Cleveland with his brother, it makes a ton of sense.
Ty, one last thing on D'Angelo Pons, but he was with Kurt Cignetti the entire time. Started with Cignetti at James Madison, followed Cignetti to Indiana, obviously flourished with the Hoosiers this year, winning a national championship. When you're looking at prospects making the transition from the collegiate level to the NFL level, how much emphasis do you put on the coaching they got in college in terms of where they currently are at versus where their ceiling may be? Does that make a difference that he followed maybe the best coach in college football right now for the last 4 years?
Yeah, when I look at stuff like that, I mean, it's just about your foundation. I mean, that's kind of what NFL look at. All right, this guy, his foundation and his fundamentals is really good. So now I can just add extra tools to his bag, to make him better than what I think where he is now. College coaching is significant in a player's progression to the NFL. I mean, it is. That's why you see all these players wanting to go to the Georgias, Ohio States, and LSUs and stuff like that, because they understand that as an NFL coach, I don't have to coach him on certain things because I know the philosophies that they're coaching there at those colleges. So now when he gets here, I know I don't have to spend time trying to teach him how to do this. I know he knows how to do that. So let me just go ahead and get to the advanced stuff to make him a little bit better than what he was coming out of college and stuff like that. So to me, him following Kurt Cignetti, the fact that he was able to dominate at JMU, go to Indiana and still be dominant there, knowing that teams are going to pick on him because of his size and he doesn't back down and he shuts down guys and make plays, to me, like, it's different. You're used to teams attacking you because of who you are. So when you get to the NFL, guess what? If you got Denzel Ward and Tyson Campbell, they're not going after them. They coming after you. But you're used to that already. You understand that. You've developed the mindset to be ready for teams wanting to attack you and making them pay and showing them reasons why you should stay away from me. I think that's what the secondary for the Browns need.
I'm gonna give you 3 names. Which one of these 3 names would you be most surprised if they came up and they were drafted by the Browns at 6? Caleb Downs, Jeremiah Love, or Mekhi Lemon? Because these.
Which one I'd be the? Which ones I'd be the most shocked?
Shocked, yeah.
It's got to be Lemon.
Probably Lemon, right? Because if you could make the argument for the other two. The argument for the other two is Caleb Downs is arguably the best defensive player in this draft. I mean, he won the Thorpe. He won Big Ten Defensive Player of the Year. So arguably you could say that he's probably one of the best defensive players in this draft. And then we look at Jeremiah Love. A lot of people say he's probably the best prospect in this draft. Mekhi Lemon, although I'm high on Mekhi Lemon, I don't think, you can make the case that he's the best receiver in this draft when you look at all things that's included. You think of Cardinal Tate as probably the most pro-ready. You think at Jordan Tyson as the most athletic. To me, if you're taking Mekhi Lemon, that means that you just want a slot receiver, and you're saying bye to Isaiah Bond. And that just, they seem high on Isaiah Bond. I mean, they gave him a fully guaranteed contract, so it would be kind of head-scratching to see that.
Have we gone around and done, like, who do you want the Browns to take?
In
we
38 different iterations we have, yeah.
I just, like, is there
But
a record anywhere?
Tomorrow we'll do the official, and then Thursday we'll do the official.
Who do you
This is
want?
who we want, and who do you think?
Okay. Well, Ty, are you going to be on before Thursday? I want to know.
He's coming back tomorrow. But no, give us a shot, Ty. Because he's going with a hot take tomorrow. So, Ty, you're on the clock. You're Andrew Berry. Ty, who are you taking at number 6?
I'm taking either Jordan Tyson or Cardinal Tate.
No, it's no offense, Ryder. Pick an answer.
I took Cardinal Tate. Go Bucks.
Of course. Hey, what do you make of all this late movement of Tyson? Like,
it was a great marketing strategy by his agent and who's representing him. I said that when they first scheduled the workout, I was like, man, to do it the Friday, the last workout that people will see before going into the draft, that is the smartest thing ever. Now, what you don't see in these clips is that there is no corner there to stop a lot of these things. So, his sudden movement, his quickness, and his ability to float in the air is second to none. That's why I say, to me, he is the most athletically gifted receiver out of everybody in this draft. Also, this is a little hot take, and people are going to take it the wrong way, and I don't mean it this way. So let me preface this by saying he is not Jordan Tyson when I say this. But if you take a Tyron Montgomery late in the draft, he has some of the same athletic abilities as Jordan Tyson.
Okay.
ESPN did an awesome SC featured on Tyron Montgomery, the John Carroll product, who has a chance to be drafted probably day 3, right? The projections are around 5, 6,
he'd probably be 5, 6, 7 or undrafted, but he's a guy that, he's going to be 25 years old, so that's obviously the thing. But he just needs some polish. He's only played football for 2 years, so obviously there's going to be some work there. But man, athletically wise, that boy is gifted.
He be running away from people. He was running. It's funny, bad film when you be running away from people and look like you in the back of Avon Lake. They got the houses back there and people you see picnics.
Well, it's the John Carroll.
I'm like, man, he running away from these kids. He got regular practice jerseys on. I said, but he nice though.
But he definitely got that same float in the air like Jordan Tyson got. When he jump, he float for a little bit. So that's why, to me, he ain't the same size. I think he's 5'11", I want to say, and Jordan Tyson's 6'2". So obviously you're getting that difference there. But like athletically wise, it's not that far off from a Jordan Tyson.